It's probably safe to say that all of us grew up listening to Christmas songs, Christmas hymns sung at church, and popular songs on the radio and on records. Many of the songs that we connect to the holiday season are filled with memories of our early childhood. Everybody has a favorite Christmas carol or song, and like everything related to taste, we don't always agree. People don't tend to go Christmas caroling these days like they used to, probably because of all the digital entertainment that's available, and we don't really want to leave our houses anymore. Decades ago, people often gathered in groups and went door to door in certain areas of neighborhoods and sang Christmas carols at random people's homes in an effort to spread holiday cheer. I find it interesting that an effort has been made to revive this classic tradition of Christmas caroling with a National Go Caroling Day to be held on Tuesday, December 20th this year. Besides, singing is good for us. Not only does it lift our spirits to hear music, but it's great for our bodies when we are physically singing. Research reveals evidence that singing regularly as part of a group has the potential to improve health-related quality of life, particularly related to physical health and levels of anxiety. Singing is the perfect way to socialize and exercise our lungs. And whether we sing with a group or not, singing Christmas carols is excellent exercise. The British Lung Foundation has even identified the top 5 carols for improving lung health, chosen due to their easy range and drawn-out phrases which require the extension of each breath. They also allow enough of a pause between each line to allow a full inhale. The top 5 carols that we should all be singing this season are as follows: Silent Night, Winter Wonderland, White Christmas, When a Child is Born, and Let It Snow. Like everything else about Christmas, the sacred and the secular blend together in the music of the season. Christmas music is a mix of sacred hymns which focus on the story of the birth of Jesus, known as the Nativity, as well as popular secular songs like Frosty the Snowman, Jingle Bells, and White Christmas. Jingle Bells is one of the best known and most commonly sung American songs in the whole world. It was written by James Lord Pierpont and published in 1857 under the title The One-Horse Open Sleigh. Now, ever the researcher, I wanted to learn more about the transportation part of this song. What exactly is a sleigh, and when did people ride in them? Well, here's what I learned. People took sleigh rides back in the day when the ground was finely frozen and there was snow. People were excited when they could put away their wagons and get out the wood sleds and the sleighs. No more mud and ruts to sink in or bounce over in unsprung wagons and carriages. Just smooth white snow, the sound of the runners running silent in the freezing air. Time to go visiting under the full moon. According to one of the articles that I read, winter travelers wrapped themselves in blankets, furs, and they packed hot bricks to keep warm on rides that might take up to a day, with a stop at an inn or a friend's home to warm up midday. The jingle of the bells may have inspired the song Jingle Bells, but the sleigh bells were not just for effect. They were required by law because the sleds traveled so fast and so quietly. So without the bells hung on the harnesses of the horses, blind intersections would be incredibly dangerous. Jingle Bells was also one of the first songs to be broadcast from space in a Christmas-themed prank by Gemini 6 astronauts Tom Stafford and Wally Schirra. While they were in space on December 16th, 1965, they sent this report to Mission Control. This is Gemini 6. We have an object, looks like a satellite, going from north to south, up in a polar orbit. He's in a very low trajectory, traveling from north to south, and has a very high climbing ratio. It looks like he might be going to re-enter soon. Stand by. And then Schirra brought out a harmonica, and Stafford produced some sleigh bells, and they broadcast their rendition of Jingle Bells from space. Now, according to the Guinness Book of World Records, the song White Christmas is the best-selling Christmas song of all time. It was first aired during the Kraft Music Hall radio show on December 25th, 1941. Bing Crosby sang the song just a few weeks after the attack on Pearl Harbor. Now, the backstory of this song is rather sad as well. It was written by Irving Berlin, a man who, interestingly enough, did not celebrate Christmas because he was Jewish. Some people believe that the melancholy nature of the song was a result of Irving Berlin's sadness over the death of his infant son on Christmas Day in 1928. Berlin wrote the song for a musical that eventually morphed into the 1942 classic movie Holiday Inn, and he ended up winning an Academy Award for the song. In 1954, it was the title track of another Bing Crosby Christmas musical called White Christmas. But my favorite Christmas song is The Little Drummer Boy. Inspired by the French song Pas de Pain, American composer and teacher Catherine Kennicott Davis wrote the song in 1941. Davis had been trying to take a nap, but kept hearing Pas de Pain in her head, which took on a rhythm and became pa-rum-pum-pum, pa-rum-pum-pum. The result was a song about a little boy who was summoned to the nativity of Jesus. Without any gifts to offer, he played his drum with approval from Mary, the mother of Jesus. Now, let's just stop right there a second and consider the logic. Mary just got the baby to sleep, and a little boy steps up to play a drum solo for him. And she's fine with that? The song was originally called The Carol of the Drum, and it was actually recorded by the Austrian Trapp Family Singers, the group made popular in the story of The Sound of Music. Their recording, released in 1951, brought the song to prominence. Now, when I was younger, I loved this song. I liked the tune and the rhythm of the song. I liked the drumming part. And as I grew older, I learned to appreciate the message of the song, which is about a little boy giving what he can, even if it's a meager amount. And it's also about receiving what someone offers. I think it's safe to say that at some point in our lives, we have all been the little drummer boy. We show up at an event empty-handed. We didn't know we were supposed to bring something. We can either turn around and leave, or we can try to make do. The little drummer boy made do. He just happened to have his drum with him, so he decided to play it. But he could play it because he was talented. He had a resource. He was a musician. He was lucky to have his drum with him. He had something to offer, and he was willing to offer it. Again, he could have turned around and left the stable, chosen not to share his resource, his talent, but he did. And finally, he played well. I played my best for him. Pa-rum-pum-pum-pum. The drummer boy didn't just bang his drum a few times with some random hits. He played his best. The little drummer boy had integrity. He had standards. He wanted to do well. The obvious message in this song is the lesson that many of us have been taught from a young age, that giving is better than receiving. Jesus taught that very principle and is quoted in Acts chapter 2 saying, "It is more blessed to give than to receive." The little drummer boy didn't have much, but he gave what he could. Certainly we can do that too. The boy didn't give Jesus his drum, he gave him a song. In other words, he shared his talent. We don't always have to give material gifts. We can give of ourselves, whether it be through sharing our talents, our time, or our love. But let's look at the reception of the gift of this song. Everyone in that stable, in fact, all living creatures in that stable, accepted the gift. They received it well. Mary nodded. The ox and lamb kept time. The baby smiled. It was nearly a standing ovation, something that all of us performers love. So let's emulate the response found in that stable as we receive gifts this Christmas. Let's remember that every gift that is offered to us is just like this little drummer's song. It's a gift that is representing oftentimes the best that someone has, a gift of love. So let's receive with smiles, with nods of understanding and honest gratitude. It's good to be a joyful giver, but it's equally important to be a gracious receiver. And that is the message of the little drummer boy. As our ears are filled with Christmas music these days, may our hearts be filled with love and understanding. Amen.
Thank you so much for joining us. As you know, Entry Point Faith relies on your financial contributions to keep everything going. If you would like to donate, please head on over to the website at entrypointchurch.org and you can click on the donate button. We meet every week at Conner Prairie in Fishers, Indiana at 10:30 a.m. Plan to arrive a little bit early so that you can become a part of the community.